Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dan Chapman, and I'm the Chief Administrator for the City of Kitchener. And it's my honor to formally welcome everyone to the 2019 State of the City and extend our thanks for your support. As you know, very often events like this are held at City Hall, as that building is the visible center of government for the community. And although this building has a much lower profile, it's fitting that this year's State of the City is being held at the Kitchener Operations Facility because it represents the largest center of service delivery to the community. Both locations play an integral role. They're roughly the same size and house roughly the same number of employees. This facility, for example, is home to such operations as the city's 24/7 corporate contact center, utility operations, and our road crews. We also have our greenhouse on site, and our greenhouse staff have grown some bee-friendly plants, which you may have seen as you came in this evening and are available for you to pick up as you leave tonight. We're very pleased to be able to showcase this building with its many integrated sustainability components this evening. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the attendance of many dignitaries who I will ask to now stand and be recognized. And I would ask that you please hold your applause until all have been introduced. First, from the City of Kitchener, we have Councillors Dave Schneider, John Gazzola, Christine Michaud, Kelly Galloway-Seelock, Paul Singh, Bill Ioannidis, Margaret Johnston, Debbie Chapman, and Sarah Marsh. From Regional Council, we are joined this evening by Regional Chair Karen Redman and Regional Councillors Tom Galloway, Jeff Lorentz, Michael Harris, Carl Kiefer, Jim Erb, and Helen Jowett. Also North Dumfries Township Mayor Sue Foxton, Wellesley Township Mayor Joe Nowak, and Wilmot Township Mayor Les Armstrong. From the cities of Waterloo and Cambridge, we are joined by Mayor Dave Jaworski, Mayor Catherine McGarry, Councillors Royce Bodley, Tennille Bonagor, Diane Freeman, Sandra Hanmer, and Donna Reed. And from our local school boards, we're joined by Waterloo Catholic District School Board Trustees Bill Conway, Manuel De Silva, Kevin Dupuis, Wendy Price, and Tracy Weiler. And finally, from Waterloo Region District School Board, we're joined by Trustees Kathy Smith and Joanne Weston. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to all of these elected officials this evening. Tonight's event truly is about bringing community together, and as we know, collectively we can make a difference. Similar to previous State of the City events, a charitable donation will be made to the Kitchener Mayor and Council Fund at the Kitchener-Waterloo Community Foundation from proceeds through ticket sales. The KWCF forms connections throughout the community to make measurable and sustainable impact. It's a unique organization because fund holders and donors get the chance to have their donation give back forever through grants that are distributed annually to local charities. The City partnered with KWCF in 2018 and will again in 2019 on Kitchener's Neighbourhood Matching Grant Program. In case you missed it, KWCF's team has a booth at the side of the room, and I would encourage you to stop by as you leave this evening if you didn't have a chance as you came in. They are truly focused on making it easy for people to do more good and have recently developed innovative, flexible giving options for individuals and employers. I have two housekeeping matters to take care of quickly. First, if you're looking for washrooms, they're through the two double doors on the left. And also, in the event of an emergency, please exit the building the same way you entered, out through the lobby and the reception area. Finally, it's my pleasure to welcome Tova Davidson, Executive Director of Sustainable Waterloo Region, who will introduce our speaker for this evening, Mayor Berry Vrbanovic. Tova is known to most of us here, but in case you don't know Tova, here's a bit of her background. She helps develop strategic direction for SWR, manages the team, and builds key relationships throughout Waterloo Region. Through collaboration, she and SWR are driving change locally and provincially, focusing on businesses and community-level sustainability, and more specifically in the areas of energy, transportation, and high-performance buildings. For Tova, the best of these solutions have demonstrated benefit to both the economic and environmental well-being of the organization and the community overall. Tova sits on a number of boards and volunteers with groups around the region. Having been recognized extensively for her leadership in the community, she continues to lead by example while inspiring others to do the same. Please join me in welcoming Tova Davidson.
Thanks for the introduction, Dan. I'm so excited to welcome you all here tonight to the 2019 State of the City Address at the City of Kitchener. You know, when I first met Berry Vrbanovic about 5 years ago, it was clear to me that he was a champion for Kitchener and a champion for sustainability, and he truly believed in it. And at the time, as the new executive director of Sustainable Waterloo Region, that was music to my ears. Over the past 5 years, with Berry moving into the role of mayor at the City of Kitchener, Sustainable Waterloo Region and the City of Kitchener have worked together on so many cool things. All of those things to improve the lives of the residents and the businesses across Waterloo Region, and to make Kitchener a more sustainable community. This has included the corporate GHG emissions reduction targets that the city has with our program, the Regional Sustainability Initiative, the Corporate Climate Action Plan, the Community Climate Action Plan, which is run in partnership with Sustainable Waterloo Region and Reap Green Solutions, who is also here tonight, so big shout out to Mary Jane and her team. And in fact, our offices were actually hosted at the City of Kitchener for a time in 2017 and 2018. This has been an incredible partnership. But in recent news, it's become more and more apparent that climate change and sustainability needs our attention and our action now more than ever. The UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, told us in October of 2018 that we have 12 years to avoid major climatic disaster. We need to reduce worldwide carbon emissions by 45% by 2030. That's a staggering number. We need to actually reduce it to 0 by 2050, according to this report. The urgency for this can no longer be disputed, and Canada can no longer deny that we have a major role to play to avert this climatic disaster. In November of 2018, it made news when it was revealed that Canadians produce 3 times more greenhouse gases than the G20 average. 3 times more. That's incredible. We are some of the worst emitters in the world. And I don't know if people have taken that in and understood that Canada plays that kind of a role across the globe. We emit, on average, 22 tons per person per year, which is the highest in the G20. We can't bury our heads anymore and claim that we are not part of the problem. But action on these issues comes from local action and local government. And to pick up that challenge and to make real changes to create a better future for all citizens and all businesses. At the City of Kitchener, we're seeing, and across Waterloo Region, we are seeing incredible leadership in the areas of sustainable futures and building our clean economy. But what does that mean? We talk about that kind of thing all the time. What do we mean by that? Well, it means reducing our environmental impact, but at the same time, diversifying energy sources, creating more jobs, building a better economic growth for the community, and healthier, happier lives for our residents. We work on these things through community climate action plans, which now has a long-term target of 80% reduced across Waterloo Region by 2050. And this target, through the Climate Action Program, was unanimously approved by the City of Kitchener and all 3 cities in the region in June of last year. There has been incredible participation and support from the City of Kitchener for that, as well as all 8 area municipalities, which is pretty amazing. They're all participating. There are not other communities that we know of across Canada where you have 8 participating municipalities working towards a reduction together. Leadership for a Better Future is also part of the corporate plan to reduce emissions for the city operations. And SWR is thrilled to be able to support Kitchener in so many ways to reach these targets for corporate and community-wide emissions through ongoing measurement, management, coaching, all of those things we work together for a sustainable future. Now that you've heard a little taste of what's happening in the sustainability field here in Kitchener, I would actually be remiss, and I would not be doing my job, if I didn't invite you all to join Sustainable Waterloo Region at our upcoming Evening of Recognition. It's happening on April 25th, and it's a free community event. We're hosting it at the Evolve 1 building, and if you haven't seen that building, it is Canada's very first net positive multi-tenant office building, which was developed by the Cora Group, and we were happy to support them in that development over the past 5 years. So please go onto our website, register for that event, and come and hear some of the incredible leadership that's happening across Waterloo Region. In the areas of sustainability, I'm not sure that this community is aware of all the ways that Mayor Berry works to keep this issue pushing forward. He's a major champion for the UN Sustainable Development Goals. In fact, he has a little pin that's round he wears all the time with colors that represents the Sustainable Development Goals. He regularly represents Canada in meetings and on committees to help move these goals forward for local government and to integrate local government into these plans. He's also President Emeritus 2011-2012 of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and is a member of FCM's Green Municipal Fund Council. Berry keeps these issues top of mind around the Horseshoe locally, and we can be sure that developing a community that is sustainable, that works for the long term, is partly his focus, because what we're looking for is that beautiful synchronicity between environmental sustainability, human sustainability, and economic resilience. And that will be good for the citizens of today, as well as the Kitchener businesses and residents of the future. So without further ado, it's really my pleasure to welcome Mayor Berry to present his State of the City address. I'm honored to introduce him. I think he's wonderful. Berry's a passionate believer in Kitchener, an incredible advocate for a clean and sustainable future. So thank you, Berry, for all that you do. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Tova, for that very kind introduction, and thank you for all the incredible work that you and your team have been doing together with many other organizations in our region to really put Waterloo Region not only on the provincial but on the national and global stage in terms of the kinds of innovation we're doing around sustainability. Change is never easy, and it often creates discord. But when people come together for the good of humanity and the earth, we can accomplish great things. These words, spoken by David Suzuki, serve as a reminder that regardless of who we are, the corner of the world we come from, or the language we speak, we are united by a shared responsibility to protect the earth for ourselves and for future generations. And so I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the lands on which we gather today, recognizing that the city of Kitchener is situated on the Haldimand Tract, the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. In acknowledging these lands, we pay homage to the city's first environmental stewards and the enduring knowledge, presence, and deep-rooted traditions of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who continue to enrich our community to this day. Good evening, and thank you all for being here tonight. As I stand before you, reflecting on Mr. Suzuki's words, I can agree that change is never easy. For many, the word change carries with it a sense of uncertainty. We have a tendency to resist what we do not know. Ideas, concepts, and ways of doing things that are new to us or that challenge our understanding of the world and the way we have come to see it. But the city of Kitchener and its people have never viewed change in this way. We don't fear or resist change, but rather we embrace it. We are resilient and see change as an opportunity for growth, development, and prosperity. Change to us means a better city, a vibrant, innovative, and caring city, achieved through continuous progress. We are leaders of change, and we recognize that our strength comes from our willingness to adapt, to continuously reimagine, rethink, and reshape how we do things. We are deliberate, strategic, and forward-thinking in our approach. Together, we walk confidently in the direction of change because we know we are changing for the good. It's befitting that I address you tonight in the Kitchener Operations Facility, or the COF, as many have come to know it. The cough is a symbol for the kind of forward-thinking, transformational change Kitchener embraces. A former tire plant, this space was redeveloped with a sustainable lens for a new purpose as Kitchener's consolidated maintenance facility. More than that, it's an example of how we, as a city, made a conscious decision to change for the good. I think back to when we first began making plans for the cough. We saw the opportunity a decade ago to make bold decisions that would have a positive impact on the sustainability of and a greener future for our city. By installing what was at the time Canada's largest solar rooftop on this building, we've been able to generate an average of $400,000 worth of electricity per year to contribute to the grid. In fact, we were able to generate enough revenue that the investment in this rooftop paid for itself in 5 years instead of the expected 7, making this both a sustainably conscious decision and a good business decision. The COF is a tremendous example of how, as a city, we can lead by example and choose to change for the good. By virtue of its design, the COF represents our vision for a better, more caring city, but it's the hard work and dedication of its staff that carries this vision through to fruition each and every day. From the water we drink, to the streets we travel, to the energy used to heat our homes, many of the people who deliver the vital city services Kitchener citizens value most work here. Tonight, a fraction of them are here, but they represent literally hundreds of people. And I ask you to join me in thanking them for the meaningful work they do to ensure all citizens can live a great life in our city. Each of their efforts make all the difference in our community. It's been said that if you want to know what a city's priorities are, look no further than its budget. I am sure that my council colleagues would join me in noting that Kitchener's 2019 budget is one that enables us to continue delivering the high-quality services citizens expect while we continue to innovate, to lead, and to embrace change for the good. In 2019, we are focused on positive change that will ensure Kitchener is strong, safe, and livable today and for our children and grandchildren. I know I speak for my council colleagues when I say that the number one thing we heard from people as we knocked on doors late last year was the need to change how we move through our city. Our streets need to be safer, more connected, and more inclusive, meaning that whether you're 8 or you're 80, you can move through Kitchener on foot, on 2 wheels, or on 4, or any number in between. As a council, one of the most compelling stories we heard for safer streets came from 2 engaged residents, Josh Gibbons and his 11-year-old son, Caleb. We met Josh and Caleb during our public consultation session on the budget. When they spoke to us, Josh and Caleb expressed their enthusiasm for biking around our city. But as a caring and concerned parent, Josh also voiced his reluctance to allow Caleb to bike to school out of concern for his safety. He spoke about the challenges they faced by speeding traffic and a network that is disconnected, making it hard to get where they want to go. Josh and Caleb's story is a powerful one, and it's a story that can be heard in every ward in our city. It's a story that highlights the challenges confronting every parent, every commuter, and every citizen traveling within our city. It reminds us that active forms of transportation should not be reserved for the most adventurous or courageous amongst us. They should be seen as safe modes of transportation available to all travelers, regardless of their age or level of experience. I want to live in a city where residents like Caleb feel empowered to walk or bike to school. I want to live in a city where parents like Josh don't fear for their child's safety during their morning commute. And so, to make it easier for Josh and Caleb and thousands of others to move through our city, we're changing transportation for the good in a number of ways starting this year. We are implementing change in the form of a pilot project that will see a 5-kilometer continuous network of protected bike lanes installed on our streets. This network will make it easier and safer for people to get from the suburban landscape of the West Heights neighborhood in Bill Ioannidis' Ward 7 to Belmont Village in Margaret Johnson's Ward 8 and further into the downtown core. And we're implementing a change in the design of a pre-existing roundabout in Kelly Galloway Seelock's Ward 5. Any pedestrian or cyclist in the city will likely tell you that approaching roundabouts of the size and scale of this one near Huron Heights Secondary School can be intimidating and stressful, even if you're a confident non-car commuter. Implementing a Dutch roundabout design will provide a better path for pedestrians and cyclists to feel more confident traveling through this high-volume area. Changing for the good also means acknowledging that we need to address the increase in speeding in our neighborhoods to make them safer for everyone. We have seen the successful impact resident-led traffic calming initiatives can have in our neighborhoods, like the Walking on Sunshine crosswalk located at Lancaster Street East and Chapel Street in Sarah Marsh's Ward 10. In Dave Schneider's Ward 2, the installation of flexible delineators helped to slow cars down in front of Lackner Woods Public School, giving parents a sense of relief that the area would be safer for the large number of kids that walk to school in that neighborhood. This year, we've expanded funding for solutions like flexible delineators and rotational speed advisory sign supports, allowing both residents and counselors to have a say in addressing speed in the areas that matter most in their own wards. While these traffic calming measures are effective, they're only part of the solution. Consider that a pedestrian struck by a vehicle traveling at 50 kilometers per hour has a survival rate of less than 50%. And a pedestrian has almost no chance of surviving the impact of a vehicle traveling at 80 kilometers per hour. These statistics make a compelling case for why reducing speed limits on city streets to 40 kilometers an hour will enhance safety for not only pedestrians, but also cyclists and drivers. This will allow parents like Josh to feel more confident, allowing kids like Caleb to walk or bike to school. Slowing down vehicle traffic in neighborhoods is not an issue unique to Kitchener. Our neighbors in Waterloo share the desire for safer streets in our region as well. And so this year, staff in both Kitchener and Waterloo will be working together to review and pilot 40-kilometer-an-hour speed limits in a designated neighborhood in each of our cities. This is only one of several initiatives our two cities are collaborating on this year as we work together to make not only our cities, but our entire region safer and more livable. In and of themselves, these changes to our cycling network and infrastructure and streets are good changes. Changes that will have an immediate and positive impact on how people are able to move through our city and on the quality of life of our residents. Together, they're an example of how as a city, we're not afraid to change for the good. One only has to look at the Ion Corridor to see how changing the way we move through our city and our region can have a dramatic and positive effect on our city. In Kitchener, we've never failed to see the opportunity change brings. And we have a history of welcoming change with enthusiasm. We've worked hard to demonstrate the compelling reasons to invest in Kitchener, attracting the best of the best in terms of developers, businesses, and new industries. It is undeniable that the addition of LRT to our community has had a transformational impact on both our physical landscape and our thriving economy. From downtown Kitchener to the Kingsdale neighborhood, investors and businesses are capitalizing on the opportunity to become part of the future of our city. And in many ways, these partners share our vision of changing for the good. In downtown Kitchener, local developers like Perimeter are a significant and important part of the billion-dollar building boom, the explosion of growth that will see 18 developments rise up, transforming both our skyline and the communities within the downtown. Perimeter's 345 King Street West is an example of the kind of leading developments that will support our city's change for the future. Perimeter is in the midst of transforming what was once a static parking lot into a stunning 6-story LEED Gold Class A office building, the first new space like this in downtown Kitchener in more than 25 years. A building of this substance is the kind of design we look to all developers to bring to Kitchener: sustainable, environmentally responsible, and appealing to high-quality employers that are looking to capitalize on the knowledge economy booming in our city and for our region. Perimeter is not alone in their pursuit for better development. In John Gazzola's Ward 3, international developer Cadillac Fairview is investing $70 million in the redevelopment of Fairview Park Mall to create the Cadillac Fairview Grand Market District, a mixed-use development that will revitalize this valuable part of our city as a destination that combines shopping, leisure, work, and living spaces. Like Perimeter, Cadillac Fairview is also thinking about our collective future with an eye to more sustainable development that includes 1,500 solar panels, permeable pavement, and dedicated stormwater facilities. This type of future thinking in any development is the kind of change for the good we embrace. Perimeter and Cadillac Fairview are leaders, to be sure, but they're not alone in their efforts to create a more sustainable city. Kitchener is home to many great businesses that see value in meaningful, responsible change. For businesses like JW Cultivations, transforming old spaces for new ventures has meant tremendous success for this family-owned company. In repurposing an old auto parts plant, JW Cultivations converted 337,000 square feet of production space and 8,000 square feet of office space to grow their medical cannabis operations to become the largest aeroponic producer of crop anywhere in the world. We see more companies like JW Cultivations achieving and exceeding their goals, gravitating towards change for the good that makes our economy stronger and our city better today and into the future. These business partners are leaders in recognizing the importance of good growth rooted in environmental stewardship. They show us that investing in green infrastructure enhances areas for growth, expansion, and progress now and in the years to come. As a city, we need to do more than just celebrate and recognize the efforts of our partners in the private sector for their leadership in areas like sustainability. As a city, we need to do better, think bigger, and lead by example. We need to keep changing for the good so that our city is safe, strong, and livable, not just today, but 10, 20, 50 years from now. We are at a pivotal moment in our history. Our climate is getting warmer, wetter, and more unpredictable every day. Intense, extreme weather events are becoming more commonplace. These occurrences damage our buildings, put pressure on our electrical and water systems, and require us to respond, rebuild, and repair what is lost. In June 2017, a significant weather event came in the form of a torrential rainstorm that caused water levels along the Grand River to rise so significantly that they flooded the pool basin in Kiwanis Park, closing access to the public and delaying construction to update the pool until staff could remove debris and assess the extent of the damage. This is but a small example, one that highlights the impact these events can have on our physical environment in a very real way. As a larger city, we have arguably the best opportunity and largest part to play in mitigating the effects of climate change. Larger cities consume 2/3 of the world's energy and are accountable for 70% of global CO2. Together, we can change for the good by turning our attention to making environmental leadership a priority for the City of Kitchener. In unity with other nations around the world that have entered into the Paris Agreement, Kitchener must intensify our actions and investment to combat climate change. Nations and cities all over the world are collectively taking action in the global effort to reduce greenhouse gases by 80% by 2050. So how does Kitchener fit into this global goal? Well, next week, Council will review our city's first ever Corporate Climate Action Plan. Here's a glimpse of what's to come.
For our planet to prosper, we all have a role to play, which is why Kitchener is changing for good with our Corporate Climate Action Plan for Sustainability. Our plan is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from 2010 levels through an absolute target of 8% by 2026. We will use less, use better, and use different in key areas of the city. Learn how we're making a difference at kitchener.ca/sustainability.
So we'll get a full look at this plan, a plan we know will be ambitious but achievable. It's a plan that inspires change for the good, ensuring Kitchener's long-term sustainability and success. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but it's work that is overdue and work that we're ready to begin. In our city fleet, we will make better use of electric-powered vehicles, like some of the ones you see here, to reduce the amount of fuel emissions we produce, resulting in cleaner air. We will also focus on sourcing new materials like biofuel, a plant-based solution to power our fleet, lower our emissions, and improve the air our citizens breathe. In our built environment, we will invest in greener infrastructure like the buildings we're in today. Undertaking deep energy retrofits that will update older buildings to today's standards and beyond, we will make use of the most effective solutions as a wise, long-term investment with proven return. In our streetlight network, we will continue to leverage our smart LED systems, which has so far reduced our greenhouse gas emissions by up to 300 tons and saved our city over $1 million in energy costs annually. We will also look to mitigate the effects of climate change that we're experiencing every year by investing in our natural environment. For example, we will advance an urban forest strategy that includes an accelerated tree planting program to address the existing backlog in street tree planting. Across the city, we'll also improve the resiliency of our urban forests and preserve the tree canopy through an emergency response and recovery plan, better protecting homeowners in areas where mature trees can become a threat in the event of severe windstorms. Putting forward measures to mitigate and adapt to the effects of the global climate crisis improves our city's resiliency, allowing our infrastructure to withstand extreme weather systems, unpredictable temperatures, flooding, and high energy costs to save us money in the future. Recently, I learned about the ancient Iroquois seventh generation principle. The seventh generation takes its name from the Great Law of the Haudenosaunee, the founding document of the Iroquois Confederacy, the oldest living participatory democracy on earth. It is based on an ancient Iroquois philosophy that in our every deliberation, we must consider the impact of our decisions on the next 7 generations. This philosophy is not unique to the Iroquois nation. Indigenous peoples around the world live by this philosophy, and it's a philosophy we should embrace as we work together to change for the good, taking action on the challenge of climate change, understanding and acknowledging our role in this global responsibility to the generations that come after us. Together, as citizens, public servants, politicians, and community leaders, we need to build on the great work of organizations like Sustainable Waterloo Region, Reap Green Solutions, and Climate Action Waterloo Region, who have long been leaders in our region. We need to collaborate, learn. I think that does deserve a response, those three organizations. Learn and work together on implementing tangible actions that will support our efforts to achieve an absolute reduction of 8% in greenhouse gas emissions by 2026. I have every confidence that Kitchener citizens will rise to join us in the challenge confronting us. My confidence is driven in part by our history. It was right here in Kitchener that curbside recycling was launched with the introduction of what is now a universally recognized symbol of recycling. The blue box, invented by Jack McInnes, this program was brought to our community by Niall Ludoff, and now more than 35 years old, received the first ever UN Environmental Award for its unique contribution to fighting pollution. And my confidence is also driven by the creative and engaged citizens I talk to every day, citizens that believe in and care about our city's future. Across the city, environmental champions are actively engaged in making Kitchener a greener and a more livable city. In Debbie Chapman's Ward 9, the Lakeside Park resident group leveraged a $2,000 placemaking challenge grant through our Love My Hood program to make their part of the city more sustainable. Together, these residents have developed a neighborhood recycling program, making their hood more sustainable. In Christine Michaud's Ward 4, students and staff at St. Kateri Tekawitha Catholic Elementary School received a $1,000 community garden grant to install an accessible garden at their school to learn more about caring for the earth. Last year, in celebration of Earth Day, resident Paul Singh's Ward 6 organized litter cleanup efforts in McLennan Park to maintain this much-loved hub of activity in their community. And on Earth Day, later this month, the annual Cole Park cleanup will take place in Scott Davies Ward 1, with neighbors working together to do their part to benefit the environment. It's examples like these that speak volumes about Kitchener's ability to see opportunity and to seize it, to empower residents to take the lead, or to join us as together we change for the good. But building a great city, a safe, connected, livable city, is not the work of one government, one municipality, or one person alone. It involves thoughtful progress achieved in the spirit of collaboration. Working with our federal, provincial, and regional partners, we make bold decisions that support our vision for the future of our city. These relationships empower our region to grow, to innovate, and to lead. A great example of this took place just a few weeks ago, with the Cambridge Fire Department working with our Kitchener Fire Department to consolidate their dispatch operations at Kitchener Fire Headquarters. This dispatch center now serves all 3 cities in Waterloo Region, as well as the 4 townships in our region, improving efficiency and ensuring better service for the citizens that rely on our distinct fire services. Waterloo Region is one of the best examples of effective and cooperative 2-tier municipal governance in the province. We deliver efficient, effective services. We balance continued growth and world-class innovation. And we create safe and caring communities for our citizens. We do this successfully because of our willingness to work together, to listen, and to shape our future in the way that best serves the needs of the communities we serve in this region. Broad and meaningful consultation is a hallmark of who we are at the City of Kitchener. As the provincial review of regional government continues, it's important that we listen to and understand the perspective of our citizens, seeking meaningful input on an important decision affecting the order of government closest to their day-to-day lives. That's why Kitchener is launching a public engagement survey in the coming weeks to ensure that in addition to the participation opportunities available in the regional and provincial public consultation processes, the unique perspective of Kitchener's residents is represented and articulated to the province through the results of a statistically valid survey. I remain steadfast in my view that the citizens in this region should have a say in our collective future. That regardless of the desired end state the province sees as a result of the regional review, the municipalities within Waterloo Region should have the ownership in creating our path to get there. Because we know when we work together, we can change for the good in a way that best serves the needs of our community. Earlier, I acknowledged that change is never easy. Changing for the good of our economy, our safety, and our planet takes vision, determination, and time. But most of all, it takes courage. It takes courage to change our perspectives and practices. It takes courage to change the outcome of our collective future. We've had the courage and the foresight to embrace change before. I know we have the courage and the fortitude to continue to change for the good, to ensure prosperity and security for Kitchener, for our children, and our grandchildren. Our city has a culture of setting long-term visions and achieving our goals. We have a history of showing leadership, putting forward policies and processes that reflect the very best of our city and its people. This tradition will continue. It's easy to be skeptical, to think that our actions can't make a difference in the face of a global crisis like climate change. But I promise you, they can. Our actions, however small they may seem, can do so much. And so, as we stand on the cusp of change, looking toward the future with greater optimism and enthusiasm, I hope you share my confidence in the incredible things we will do and achieve together. Because change for Kitchener is strength. It's community, it's prosperity, and above all, it's good. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Mayor's Office team who's played an integral role in putting tonight together. Thank you to the Corporate Communications team, and in particular, Marissa LaBianca. Thank you to the Special Events team, and most of all, thank you to our incredible team here at the COF who've done so much to make this place look great, share some of these vehicles, share some of these various aspects of our operations down here. And last but not least, there's a lot of food. The bar is open. Thank you for being here. Have a great night.